All right, I think the recording has started. Right? Yes. All right. Perfect. Hello. If you are tuning in right now, you are watching my very first YouTube video. My name is Cheyenne. I am with SP Bookkeeping, and this video is mainly going to be an icebreaker so you can get to know me. So, of course, this will just be an introduction video. I'm going to try not to say so much. It's a little hard. So if you notice me pause, it's because I'm trying not to say that. All right. And of course, I have these slides. I have these slides because it's easier for me. Sometimes I go on a tangent or a ramble or my mind just goes blank. So having something in front of me is just helpful so that I can just look at it and know exactly my talking points. So, as I mentioned, my name is Cheyenne Peoples. I'm a former accountant, and I spent 7 years working in a corporate setting before I turned to becoming a bookkeeper or a business owner with a bookkeeping company. I think the main reason, well, I'll get into that in the next slide, but the main reason why I actually decided to start is because, I enjoy doing accounting, and having been laid off, I've just felt like I wasn't very productive. The job market isn't really uh, doing much right now, so it's pretty stagnant. And I decided, okay, you know what? Instead of working for someone, I'll just work for myself. So that's when I decided, okay, I've worked in corporate America, but now let me just dedicate my focus for bookkeeping towards service-based small businesses. As a service-based business owner myself, you know, we have certain challenges that we need to overcome, um, that would be different from that of a product-based company. So that's where I'm focusing my efforts on service-based businesses and really keeping them organized, clean, not only for tax season, but so that they can make informed decisions about their financials, about their business, how to be successful. Financial report should be a year-round guide for your business, whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business. Any business financial reports are super important. It's just not for big businesses. It's especially important for small businesses because you want to scale, you want to grow, you want to be successful. And in order to be successful, you need to be on top of your books in order to do that. That's what I'm here essentially to do, help service-based businesses stay organized. All right, look like it just changed slides. Okay, so I kind of spoke about why I started my bookkeeping business briefly, but I'm gonna get into the weeds of it. So in December, I had gotten laid off for the second time, but I immediately started looking for work, and I got some traction, as in, like, I was called in for interviews and rounds of interviews, and it didn't amount to anything. And I started seeing on my LinkedIn feed just a lot of comments about, or a lot of posts, I should say, about the current job market and people just being laid off left and right. People who have been with a company for 10 years and all of a sudden they are just laid off. And this being my second time, I was feeling a little upset. I was feeling a little disappointed. I was trying not to blame myself for it because I didn't get fired. I just got laid off. So there's typically a lot more to that than when you get fired, you usually have a reason for that. They usually have a reason against you for that. Whereas when you're laid off, it's more like a structural thing with the company. Either way, I was not happy. I applied and applied to numerous jobs. And then once I saw that, you know, everybody was applying to these jobs, they were getting, thousands of applications, and, everyone was kind of feeling the same way. Like, you're doing all this work, there really isn't any result coming from it. I think like by April or so, I realized that I didn't want to wait for the job market. I started like kind of weighing the pros and cons of starting a business, the pros of starting a business, the cons of starting a business. And for me, the pros outweighed the cons. One of the pros is I don't really have to worry about job security anymore because I'm in control. You know, the success of my business will depend on the success of my clients. And that's something that I have control of. So I'm making the decision to provide great service, provide great customer service as well, so that my clients feel that I'm successfully managing their books. And that's something that you can't get when you work for a big business. You kind of get lost in like the work, the tasks. You don't really notice any benefits. You're not getting rewarded for anything. You're just kind of going about your day. Whereas there's a rewarding feeling when you work so closely with clients and you know that if they feel good about the service that you provide, they'll want to come back or refer uh, other small businesses, and that's just beneficial to any small business owner's bottom line. Especially for me as a bookkeeper, it's going to be essential, that word of mouth and that referral. I think I just went on a tangent, but let's see. Yep. All right. So I think I just kind of said this already, but I was just tired. I didn't want to have to deal with that feeling of being laid off again. I don't know if anyone has ever been laid off, but that feeling when you get laid off is just, your heart just drops and it just doesn't feel good. You take a minute to kind of dwell on it. I consider myself like kind of an emotional person, so I cried both times that I got laid off. The second time, not so much because I kind of already dealt with being laid off the first time. The second time kind of sparked something in me, kind of sparked like a fire in me to branch out and do my own thing, start my own business. And now I'm making the decision that I don't have to worry about job security. Anything that I do for my business will help it grow. And that's essentially all is needed for business. When you pour into it, you reap the benefits of what you're pouring into versus pouring into some other company, and you don't really get anything back in return. So once again, I hope that doesn't pause. Once again, you know, the success that you give doesn't go towards some company who would treat you as if you're disposable. The success that you put into or the effort that you put into your business, that will go towards the success of your business. And that's something that I really wanted for myself, and just knew that the likelihood of finding a job with such a competitive market, everybody, like applying, and just kind of felt like employers weren't really looking for people to hire. Kind of felt almost like a joke. And I didn't want to be a part of that joke. So I decided, I think it was in April, when I decided to start working towards first getting my QuickBooks certification, working towards started my LLC, working towards creating my social media platforms. So yeah, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, as I mentioned, I do focus on service-based businesses because I provide services. I provide bookkeeping services. There's just a lot that goes into uh, when you're providing a service. You know, there's the customer service aspect. A lot of the times you're working directly with the client, so you're face to face with them. So customer service is super important. In addition to a lot of other challenges that come up being a service-based business, such as how to price yourself, what value do you put on your time. So those are the things that I think my bookkeeping service would be able to help a lot of service-based business figure out, like, what should I price my services? How much time am I spending on a particular customer? Therefore, that'll let you know how much you should be charging that customer in addition to whatever cost that goes into project for that particular customer. And just for the heck of it, I did create a slide that kind of just highlights the goals for uh, my business when it comes to uh, the clients that I have. These are the challenges that often occur with service-based businesses. So like I said, first challenge is what's my price? So that's a challenge, but there is a solution. So by tracking every expense, I'll be able to give my clients clarity on what it costs to actually serve their clients. And we'll go into some more information. I think the other challenges kind of play into that as well. And then we have what's the value of my time? So, of course, bookkeeping in conjunction with logging in the time will show you which services take the most time. It'll also let you know which services take the most time and which services take the most time and aren't really reaping any profits. So you can decide whether or not you want to continue with those services or if you'd like to eliminate those services. And then you can focus on those services that reap more benefits for you. All right. Are all my service priced correctly? So this is where categorization is key. And the only way for you to be able to get correct categorization is if you are doing the bookkeeping yourself and you know what you're doing, you have the time to devote that towards um, your business, or if you outsource or you have someone doing the bookkeeping for you. Either way, someone would need to be on top of the bookkeeping because that's going to be essential when it comes time to determine what should I price my services at? Am I charging clients too much? Am I charging clients too little? Am I doing more work for less? These are things that you definitely want to know, and these are things that will be provided in a lot of the reports that you have within QuickBooks, because those QuickBooks reports are going to be generated by the transactions that you categorize. So it's super important to be accurate about the transactions, and to be on top of it to make sure you're not overstating your profits, or understating your profits in a sense. So it's super important to stay on top of that. And then what are my revenue goals? So if you're not doing any bookkeeping, or if you're doing bookkeeping, you're kind of DIYing it and, you know, you're not really on top of it, but you just kind of here and there would go in, maybe do reconciliation like once a quarter, which I don't think, if you're a business with a lot of transactions, or if you're a business with not a lot of transactions, I think if you want to grow and if you want to scale your business, you would need to often stay in QuickBooks. You need to stay on top of it because you want to make sure that whatever you generated in revenue is actually accurate. So if you have overstated revenue, that doesn't really help you because you set a goal and you may think that you're closer to your goal when in reality, you're not close to your goal. Revenue has been overstated. So that's why it's super important to stay on top of it. Once you have accurate numbers, so you know what your revenue is and it's accurate because someone's on top of your bookkeeping, then you know you can set a realistic goal, revenue goal, and you'll likely be able to reach that goal because one, you'll be focusing more of your attention on the services that you provide versus trying to juggle, a lot of things. Like as a small business owner, we just wear a lot of hats. We do the marketing, we do the outreach, we do the cold calls, um, we make the decisions. I just think if there's a possibility to alleviate some of those responsibilities, you should definitely look for, if you can, you should definitely look for, someone to take on certain things. Like if you need someone to handle the marketing, you can do that, or essentially you can do that yourself as well. But bookkeeping is something that if you just can't not have uh, someone be on top of your bookkeeping. So you just don't want to wing it. You definitely want to have someone. Let's see. So can I provide discounts? So of course, you don't want to just willy-nilly hand out discounts unless you're kind of starting out and you want to gain traction. You want some uh, clientele. You want to bring business in. But if you're just giving out discounts, you're well established and you're giving out discounts, but you're not on top of your bookkeeping, so you don't know if those discounts that you're providing are actually eating into your profit. So being on top of your bookkeeping will allow you to see whether or not you can give discounts, and whether or not certain clients you should be giving discounts to. Maybe that particular client doesn't really provide much in profit to give a discount to, because you want to tailor those perks for those customers who are um, those customers who are contributing a large portion of your profit. You don't just want to give discounts willy-nilly. Of course, as I mentioned, unless you're starting a business and you're trying to gain clientele, then okay, you can give discounts. But if you're an established business with clients already, it doesn't help profit wise to just give out discounts without fully knowing whether or not a particular customer should get a discount. All right, so that's essentially all of the challenges that I wanted to mention, and that's really all as well. So this was just the icebreaker for you to get to know me. I will be coming out with more videos. I'll have tutorials. I kind of want to do a history into small businesses and why they're so essential to the economy. Therefore, it being essential to the economy means that you should put so much importance and weight into making your business successful, because it contributes so much to the economy. It contributes so much to society as a whole. Honestly, it contributes to your neighborhood. So small businesses are super important and shouldn't just wing it, just fly by and hope things will correct itself. It normally doesn't happen. So you definitely want to be on top of things. um, I think towards the later part of this video is now when I'm starting to say a lot. But if you like this video, please subscribe, like, and comment. And as I mentioned, I will have future videos, tutorials, history lessons, really about bookkeeping and small businesses, not like all around a history lesson. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you have any questions or any comments, or you'd like to see something in the next video, please leave a comment below and I will work on that, and you might see that in the next video. Other than that, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.